So let's finish off our review of the nervous system by having a look of the autonomic nervous system. And our interest will be especially on the sympathetic and parasympathetic system. But first, I wanted to kind of put things in place. We have covered a lot of ground with the nervous system. And as you can see, there's a kind of structural organization that we can use to make sense of it. Our focus on this discussion will be on the autonomic nervous system. And this is especially important as it helps us to understand the effects of many drugs in normal state and how these drugs may cause us issues that we need to be aware of. Let's look at the autonomic nervous system, which I will be abbreviating as ANS. This is a motor subdivision of the peripheral nervous system, so our PNS, and consists only of motor neurons. And this system controls the body automatically, so therefore as it is known as the involuntary nervous system. It really regulates cardiac and smooth muscles and also glands. So let's return back to this slide again, and I want to highlight how the autonomic nervous system differs from the somatic nervous system. And although both of them have motor fibers, the biggest differences that we see are in the effects, the efferent pathways and ganglia, and the target organ responses to neurotransmitters. Let's have a look of that a little bit. So let's start with the somatic nervous system, which was all about innervating the skeletal muscles. Here we see that the cell bodies are located still within the central nervous system. They have this single axon that extends directly to the target, and in this diagram that would be the skeletal muscle. In autonomic nervous system, we have a setup of two neurons. These are the preganglionic neuron with its cell body within the central nervous system, and this neuron's axon is thin and lightly myelinated. That ends to the autonomic ganglion. Then the post-ganglionic neuron is outside the central nervous system with the post-ganglionic axon running to the effector organ on this diagram, the heart. So these two differ significantly in terms of the efferent pathways arrangement. I also wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the fact that all somatic motor neurons release acetylcholine, which is typically abbreviated as ACH, and the effect of this is simulatory. In case of the autonomic nervous system, this is a little more complex. The preganglionic fibers release acetylcholine, while postganglionic release norepinephrine or acetylcholine at the effectors. And the effect can be either simulatory or inhibitory, depending on the type of receptor. For the sake of completeness, I should also mention that there is some overlap between the two. But now what I really wanted to focus today on this video is to speak about the sympathetic and parasympathetic branches of the autonomic nervous system. And I wanted to start this section by noting the fact that these two branches of autonomic nervous system maintain homeostasis. You can consider these two almost as opposites. So the parasympathetic branch is more concerned with energy extraction from the digestive system and just maintaining functions at the state of rest. It is sometimes described as this rest and digest system. Whereas the sympathetic branch is much more concerned with our immediate survival. This is at the time of crisis where we need to get the body quickly to respond, for example, to a threat. We call this fight or flight system. We are getting ready to escape a situation or prepare to fight for our survival. And there are also anatomical differences that we see between these two. So parasympathetic nerve fibers arise from the brain and sacral region. And sympathetic nerve fibers arise from the thoracic and lumbar regions. The length of nerve fibers also differs. Parasympathetic are characterized by one long preganglionic and short postganglionic parts, whereas the sympathetic ones have a short preganglionic and long postganglionic parts. Also, the ganglia location differs. Parasympathetic ganglia are located inside or very near to the effector organs, while the sympathetic ganglia lie close to the spinal cord. So I think that this is particularly good diagram highlighting some of those. And that really brings us to the end of everything that I wanted to highlight with this short video wrapping up the very last section of our nervous system review. It certainly has been a fun journey. I look forward to seeing you in subsequent topics.